Good Wednesday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Conversation Daily News. Glad you all could be with us. But of course, you have your news headlines coming up on this hump day. I have a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you got to prepare my conversation with author Kerri Schlottman, who's celebrating a brand new book this year called Tell Me One Thing. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with their Wednesday headlines. In national news, police seek motive of gunman who killed 3 at Michigan State. The 43-year-old gunman who killed 3 students and wounded 5 others at Michigan State University had no apparent connection to the campus, police said on Tuesday, as they searched for a motive for shootings that terrified the community for hours. Investigators were sorting out why the shooter, who Conversations Daily News is not naming, fired inside an academic building and the student union just before 8:30 p.m. on Monday. An hours-long lockdown at the campus in East Lansing ended when he killed himself miles away while being confronted by police. The shooting happened the day before the 5th anniversary of the Parkland, Florida school shooting that killed 17 and is the latest in what has become a deadly new year in the U.S. We have to do something to stop the gun violence that's ripping apart our communities, President Joe Biden said in a speech on Tuesday mentioning Michigan State. Meanwhile, a school district in Ewing Township, New Jersey, closed for the day after investigators said that the shooter, who lived in the area years ago, had a note in his pocket indicating a threat to schools there. But it was determined there was no credible threat, local police said later in a statement shared by the superintendent. The dead and injured in the gunfire at Berkeley Hall and the MSU Union, a popular place to eat and study, were all Michigan State students. 5 remained in critical condition at Sparrow Hospital at the time of this report. We have absolutely no idea what the motive was, said the deputy chief of campus police, adding that the shooter of Lansing was not a student or Michigan State employee. The dead were all from the Detroit area. The shootings took place in an area of older, stately buildings on the northern edge of the Michigan State campus, one of the nation's largest at 5,200 acres. Just across busy Grand River Avenue lies East Lansing's downtown, teeming with restaurants, bars, and shops. In more national news, California Senator Feinstein says she won't seek re-election. Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein, whose groundbreaking political career shattered gender barriers from San Francisco City Hall to the corridors of Capitol Hill, said on Tuesday she won't seek re-election in 2024. The senator, who turns 90 in June, is the oldest member of Congress and has faced questions in recent years about her cognitive health and memory, though she has defended her effectiveness representing a state that is home to nearly 40 million people. The announcement came after several prominent California Democrats, including U.S. Representatives Katie Porter and Adam Schiff, already had declared Senate campaigns. With Feinstein a now 30-year veteran of the Senate, there hasn't been a wide-open competition for her seat in decades. Feinstein plans to remain in Congress through the end of her current term. Speaking to reporters in Washington on Tuesday, she said there's time for all things under the sun. I think that will be the right time toward the end of next year, she says. In more national news, GOP leaders start laying groundwork for more Ukraine aid. Testimony on Russian war crimes, monthly classified briefings, high-profile hearings, TV appearances, and even op-eds in conservative media outlets. Leading Republicans in Congress are not waiting for the next debate over assistance to Ukraine, instead launching an early and aggressive effort to make the case for why the U.S. should continue spending billions of dollars on the war effort. One of their main challenges, winning over skeptical Republican colleagues. The task ahead is challenging, says the Associated Press, particularly in the House, while Republicans have often been the nation's leading defense hawks, eager for the U.S. to defend its interests through foreign action. Former President Donald Trump's America First approach has emboldened a non-interventionist wing that is ascended. They are clamoring for the Ukraine aid to come to an end, says the Associated Press. The top Democrat on the House Foreign Affairs Committee said of the Republicans across the aisle, "There are some that I've talked to. They don't realize the interest the U.S. has in it." Last week, a group of 11 House Republicans, led by Representative Matt Gaetz of Florida, unveiled a Ukraine fatigue resolution. It stated the U.S. must end its military and financial aid to Ukraine and urge the combatants to reach a peace agreement. In sports, Tiger Woods returns to golf with the same belief he can win. Tiger Woods feels good enough to play at Riviera, his first tournament with a cut and without a cart since the British Open last July. He already is looking ahead to the Masters, and yes, he thinks he can win. "I would not have put myself out here if I didn't think I could beat these guys. Woods said on Tuesday ahead of the Genesis Invitational, which has attracted 19 of the top 20 players in the world. And finally, in business news, Wall Street ends mixed after swerving on inflation report. Several sharp reversals for stocks left Wall Street mixed on Tuesday after reports showed inflation is continuing to slow, but perhaps not as quickly or as smoothly as hoped. The S&P 500 finished today virtually where it started, edging down by less than 0.1% after swerving between gains and losses. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 156 points, or 0.5%, while the Nasdaq went on to its widest run. Cyrus Webb, Conversations with Daily News. It's now time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Wednesday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. When you're in the midst of your fiery times, keep in mind that your challenges are not meant to destroy you, but refine you. Allow the flames to remove the dross and all that is not helpful to the person you were meant to be. If you hold on, what will remain will be a wiser and stronger you that will be better equipped for what will eventually come your way. Just have faith. Have an amazing Wednesday. We are part of my conversation coming up with author Kerri Schlottman in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Stay with us. You're listening to Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with Entertainment Spotlight. Author Kerri Schlottman joined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about her brand new book, Tell Me One Thing. Here's a bit of our conversation.
Kerri, thank you so much for the time. Really do appreciate it.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, the pleasure's definitely all mine. Kerri, I really enjoyed this book, and again, I went into it not really sure what to expect, but I love the fact that we're able to kind of get a really cool look at these two main characters, but also some other great characters he introduced us to, and we'll get into that a bit. But what has it been like for you? I know the book literally just came out as we're beginning this year, but what has it been like for you to see the early response to it?
It's been really exciting. So yeah, the book came out on January 31st, and I've had some really great events and starting to get reviews now that people are actually reading it, which has been really rewarding. But it's a whirlwind, you know, when your book comes out and it's finally a real thing in the real world. So I'm feeling really grateful right now and really excited about it having a life of its own outside of me.
Yeah, exactly. When I was prepping for this segment with you, Kerri, I watched a great interview that you did where you kind of talked about kind of the inspiration for the book, a real life experience that had happened with a photographer and its subject. What was it like for you to kind of bring that to life in your own way, to be able to show how a photograph that can seem innocent enough to some may end up sharing something powerful and controversial to other people?
Yeah, so the inspiration for Tell Me One Thing is actually a photograph that was taken by real-life photographer Mary Ellen Mark in 1990. She had been sent by Life magazine to photograph kids in a school for troubled children in rural North Carolina. And she met this young subject, Amanda, there, who was 9 years old at the time. And, you know, she was just really drawn to her. She was very precocious. She was living a really challenged, hard life, but was, you know, clearly smart and creative and interesting. And so when Mary Ellen was leaving town, she went to say goodbye to Amanda and found her in her backyard in a kiddie pool in a bikini with like full makeup on, fake nails, smoking a cigarette, and caught this incredibly provocative image of that. And, you know, also very problematic image of that. This is a 9-year-old girl.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for attending this edition of Conversation Daily News. Prepare to go on tomorrow with more news, message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and of course, your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversation Daily News today. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.